Alright, so for the month of December, I'm going to be talking about various Christmas movies. And today I'm going to be talking about one called Saving Santa. Has anyone actually seen this movie? The first time I ever watched it was on Netflix whenever I was about 8 years old. So I was very young. And the movie came out, I believe in 2013. It had Tim Curry and Ashley Tisdale in it, which, if you don't know who Ashley Tisdale is, she's Sharpay in High School Musical. But anyway, to give a quick rundown of the plot, since you probably have not seen the movie, it's about this elf whose name is Bernard. Bernard wishes to be, he wishes to work at this place called Sanatech, I think is what it's called. And he wishes to work there, and they help make technology for Santa. And every year he doesn't get accepted to work there. This year he makes a globe which allows people to see their best memories of their Christmas past. But again, he gets rejected. And Santa, seeing that he's so sad, decides to show him something called the Time Globe. It's the mystery of how Santa gets around the world in one night. He uses the Time Globe, which he can send himself back in time to go somewhere else, while his other self goes to the same place that he went before. Now, during Bernard's presentation, he accidentally caused a blackout throughout the North Pole, and there's this little masking device that keeps the North Pole from being seen by other people, or Santa's area being seen by other people. And there's this one guy who was looking for the North Pole so he can capture Santa, and he sees it, and now he starts attacking. Bernard he gets to the Time Globe in time, and he has to save Santa, thus the movie being called Saving Santa, by reversing the timeline so he can save Santa before it's too late. Like I said, I watched the movie whenever I was 8 years old, but many, many years later, I found the movie again, not on Netflix because they took it off of Netflix. But instead, I think I found it on Amazon Prime, and you can watch it on there. I think it's on Hulu, maybe. You can watch it on YouTube for renting or buying the movie. And I think that's all where you can watch it. I might be wrong. So I'm going to be talking about the movie and aspects I like and things I didn't like and stuff like that. Just basically what you talk about. First is the animation, and the animation is not the best, to say the least. I mean, it's not as bad as, Hoodwinked. The animation in Hoodwinked was bad, but the story was good, so that's what saved the movie. And in Saving Santa, I think that the story is fairly good, and the timeline that it has, the rules of time are just very interesting, and I liked watching it. So yeah, the animation is a bit hokey, and they do reuse the same character models in the background all the time, but it was fairly good, I'd say. It wasn't anything amazing, but it was alright. The story can be a bit confusing in some parts. I found myself getting behind on the story. I might just be stupid, I don't know. But I was having a hard time keeping up with the plot at one point because it was just moving so fast. In some parts it feels a little slow, and in some parts it feels a little fast. So the pacing can be a bit wonky sometimes. Though the rules of time are very interesting. I like the way that they have the time travel. Because no matter what Bernard tries to do, he can't stop the blackout from happening that reveals the North Pole to the main villain. So no matter what he does, he can't fix it. If you want an example of how time works in this Saving Santa universe, I guess it kind of works in Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban, if you've ever seen that movie, how time works in there. It's basically very similar to how it works in Saving Santa. And now for the characters. There's only 3 that really matter. There's Bernard, who's the main character. There is Sharpay, who her character's name in the movie is never actually said. I had to look it up. Apparently it's Shiny. So, Shiny. And then the big bad of the story, Neville Baddington. Very on the nose right there. Bernard is just one of those main characters who he has a dream and he doesn't want to give up. Even if the world beats him down, he still wants to be his best, and he wants to try his best, and he wants to get what he wants. And no matter how many times he fails, he always tries and tries, even if he gets disappointed, because he gets disappointed a lot in the movie. He gets rejected at Santa Tech. He causes the blackout, which causes Santa to be kidnapped, basically. And whenever he realizes it's his fault, that pushes him to try to fix everything more. Because he knows that it was his fault that Santa got captured, and he has to rescue Santa. Because it was his fault. And near the end of the movie, he just gets so defeated because he can't figure out how to save Santa that he just gives up. And he says that he can't do it because he's just a nobody. But with a little help from Sharpay, and a song too, they are able to find a way to defeat Neville Baddington. Now, speaking of Shiny, she is the love interest of Bernard, but she also works for this group that tries to keep Santa safe, I believe, and the North Pole safe. And that's the whole thing. And she also does help Bernard a lot in the movie. Their love subplot doesn't really go anywhere. It's just there to be there. Though the song they did sing together was pretty good. It was called like Sink or Swim, Do or Die. And that's one of the only things I remembered from the movie whenever I was younger. It's just that one line. And just going to interrupt my little character thing here and say that the songs in the movie, because it is sort of a musical, there's like 3 or 4 songs in there, they're all pretty good. They're nothing phenomenal, but they're all right. And the song that Sharpay and Bernard sing together has got to be my favorite. Though I do wish that they hadn't auto-tuned her voice, because, come on man, it's Ashley Tisdale. You don't have to auto-tune her voice. But yeah, enough about that. I need to focus on Neville Baddington. Now, there is something important to know, that at the beginning of the movie, there's this little kid that is shown, and he's singing a song, and he's writing a letter to Santa. And the narrator of the story says, "Now hang on to that. That's going to be important later." And as it turns out, the kid from the beginning of the movie singing is actually Neville Baddington. Now, Neville Baddington works for this company that delivers presents, I think, around the world. It's never really clarified, but he does work for like some shipping company, and he always wanted to know how Santa got around the world in one night, so maybe he could someday be like Santa. But Santa never shared his secret with him, and that's what caused Neville to be like, well, if you won't share the secret with me, then I'll steal it for myself, and I will find the North Pole, and I will find you, Santa, and I will steal your secrets. But Neville is redeemed by Bernard's little globe thing, not globe, ornament, it's an ornament, that can show the memories of Christmas past. They use it and trick him into thinking that it's a time globe, and it's the way Santa gets around the world in one night. And so he uses it, and he sees his memory of Christmas past of him as a child writing the letter to Santa. But as it turns out, the reason that Santa never revealed his secret or said anything back to Neville was because his mother, who despised Christmas and Santa Claus, threw all of his letters away so Santa could never know that Neville wanted to know the true secrets of what Santa did to get around the world in one night. So Neville does the only thing that he can do. He turns on his mother, who has told him to stop looking for Santa because it's foolish and Santa doesn't exist. And he turns on her and then becomes the lead of the shipping company or delivery company or whatever. And he is going to work alongside Santa from now on. And of course, Bernard gets to be on Santa Tech and his dreams come true and everybody's happy because the North Pole is saved and Bernard did it. The movie definitely isn't perfect. Like I said, the pacing's a little wonky in some areas. The animation's a bit And is childhood nostalgia probably one of the only reasons that I really, really like this movie? Maybe. I'm not sure. But I had a lot of fun watching it with my family, and it just brings good Christmas memories, I guess, as we're talking about Christmas memories with Neville Baddington. And it made me happy to be able to rewatch it again. So was this movie for everybody, and will everybody like it? Probably not. But I enjoyed it a lot, and hey, if you are able to watch it, maybe give it a shot. It's not too bad. And honestly, the movie is a lot of fun. So yeah, thank you for watching, and I will see you next week. Goodbye!